Good news to GPU lovers and buyers, I guess, everywhere. Today, it finally happened. We had the first in-person Best Buy drop in a very long time. It kind of came by surprise. Look at the line of people waiting this morning. People saw last night GPUs pop up. This was pretty massive. Let's talk about how many GPUs some of the stores actually got at original MSRPs of the Founders Edition. Hey guys, Tiago with Classical Technology here. Remember to subscribe and smash that like button. They say every time you do, you get one of these drops right in your neighborhood so you can actually buy a GPU. So this happened today. We've been talking about first prices going down, availability actually getting better, and now there have been some suspicions that the stores were going to get a large quantity of GPUs, and as you can tell by this picture here, there were a significant amount of people in line. I believe my friend sent me this picture. It was around 45 people in line, and believe it or not, he was number 46, which is really tough luck. Felt bad, but what are you going to do? Now, a lot of people, I bet, were there very early, and this time they gave out vouchers to people waiting in line. Now, this is actually pretty cool because we haven't had an in-person GPU drop in a significant amount of time. Most of the Best Buy drops have been online. Maybe there was more limited availability. Who knows the reason why Best Buy stopped in-person drops? Now, we do know that these in-person drops were problematic in the past with people lining up well before the store opened, and people would have fights and have arguments online, and moved exclusively to doing the online drops that we are now familiar with. So very interesting turn of events. Does it indicate that GPU availability is getting better? If there's one place that a GPU drop still is very exciting, that's going to be Best Buy, because they have the original MSRP of the Founder Edition GPUs. That means if you're lucky, you're going to get a $399 3060 Ti, $499 3070, $699 3080, $1499 3090. Used to be very expensive when we first heard about it, but $1499 for a 3090 actually sounds very reasonable compared to what we've seen in the market during the last 2 years. So that's why it makes these drops very exciting. Now, Newegg also seems to have a lot of GPUs in stock. I was looking on their website yesterday. They have, for the new MSRP from the manufacturer, not the NVIDIA one, 3070 Ti, like an Asus TUF, was around $949, but at least it's in stock and it wasn't bundled with anything silly that nobody really wants anyway. They seem to have 3090s and other GPUs, so definitely, objectively, GPU availability is considerably better when you can actually buy one at MSRP. Of course, anything but Best Buy is going to be the new MSRP, which is certainly, unfortunately, very expensive, but NVIDIA, AMD, and all the third-party AIBs saw the demand and saw what people were willing to pay for GPUs, and unfortunately, they jacked up those prices as well. So if you happen to get one of these Best Buy drops, consider yourself lucky, because these prices we're likely not to see again this generation. So aside from Newegg having a drop, Best Buy having an in-person drop, one interesting thing to note is that in this particular drop, the Total Tech was not a requirement, but I heard some rumors that at some other Best Buys that got the in-person drops, you actually had to have the Total Tech package, or at least they told you about it, before you could buy a GPU. This was a little bit of a controversial move from Best Buy. It basically puts up a paywall between you and a very in-demand product, a little bit anti-consumer, but their policy on this specific subject doesn't seem to be very consistent from store to store. Some stores, you don't need this at all. Some stores, it seems like you do. It's a little bit weird, but once again, getting a GPU at Best Buy has always been a little bit weird. Some stores will tell you that they don't sell GPUs that are canceled orders that show up on the app. Other stores will happily sell it to you without any issue at all. So that was all very interesting today. I didn't go and stand in line, but I did go to another Best Buy that wasn't having a specific drop, but upon opening, I got there early, pretty much as soon as it opened. I wasn't in line or anything like that. Nobody else was there. I saw that there was a Founders Edition that popped up on the app. It was a 3080 Ti, so I thought, why pass up the chance to get the cheapest MSRP we're ever going to see for a 3080 Ti? At $1199, it's cheaper than all of the current 3080 12 gigabytes. Now, let that sink in. The 3080 Ti, which is the upper model, is cheaper than a 3080, even the 12 gigabyte one. one. It doesn't matter, it's 12 gigabytes, so is the 3080 Ti. That shows you that NVIDIA's pricing structure, it's way too out of whack. It's really the result of taking advantage of ever increasing prices. That's how a supposedly inferior card like a 3080 12 gigabyte, of course it is a third-party AIB, there are no founder editions, but that's how it can be more expensive than a 3080 Ti. It shouldn't really be that close, and that shows you the damage that has been done in the pricing market. In this particular case, there was no line, nobody else there. I was able to walk right in and walk right out with it, of course, after paying. Now, you could argue that 3080 Ti will be maybe a little bit less desirable unless you really want it for gaming. In that case, it games like a 3090, and at the price of this Founders Edition, it is certainly an exceptional card, but I guess strictly for other things like crypto mining, that's why people don't have as much of an interest on it, because even though it's a Founders Edition, this and the 3070 Ti still technically are LHR, and they're not going to have the same full breadth of performance as the 3060 Ti, 3070, 3080, or 3090 Founder Edition GPUs, which really are the only ones that were never affected by LHR. Founder Editions have that sort of little protection, but the 3080 Ti is one that from the factory is LHR, so that probably explains why there wasn't a line waiting to buy this one. I bet you if it was a 3080 Founders Edition or a 3090 Founders Edition, I would have had a little more competition that day to get that GPU. So certainly a little bit of a positive, I guess, but it shows you that if you keep track, if you guys have watched my videos on using the Best Buy app to get a GPU, you can get a GPU at the original MSRP. I'm not even talking about inflated pricing. This was a Founders Edition. This MSRP is considerably lower than any other 3080 Ti you're going to see anywhere. The cheapest one up next is going to be like an EVGA 4013 or an XC3. Those are going to be well over $1,400, and most 3080 Ti's will range from $1,600 to as high as $2,000 for something like an Asus Strix or something like that, which in reality the performance really isn't that much better than a Founders Edition 3080 Ti. In fact, I prefer the PCB for the Founders Edition card, because if I want to water cool it, and that's what I plan to do with this particular card, is water cool it, you get some really fantastic results. It's a very small PCB. They make some awesome water blocks. The 3080 water blocks work on this one without any problem. The Founder Edition GPUs, in my opinion, have some of the nicest water blocks available. So definitely a win there, but that's an example of how you can still get a GPU and at the MSRP. I'm not even talking about overpaying or anything like that. So all of these events together point to a much better picture in 2022. That's a lot of positivity actually for the GPU market. Now, there are many things going on in the world right now. There are definitely issues with cryptocurrency going up, and sometimes it goes down, up, down. Who knows what happens? It's very inconsistent. So all those play a role in dictating the availability and pricing of GPUs. For right now, it seems like mining demand is a little bit quiet, so that certainly helps to explain some reasons why things are more available. But overall, certainly good news. If you're in the market to build a PC, you may still be able to get a fairly decently priced, very high performing GPU, especially if you're lucky enough at one of these Best Buy drops. So remember to subscribe for more info on upcoming Best Buy drops. Maybe that way you can catch one of these drops and get a GPU for yourself at a much more fair price. I definitely update all the time. Anything that I hear with PC building, any of these drops, definitely like to share with you guys to make sure that you have the best chance possible at getting a fair shot at a fairly priced GPU and not getting ripped off for something that you don't even want. So remember to subscribe, smash that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.